With JDG, I imagine they want to pick up their jungler here. There is still a fair few on the board despite the Xin Zhao and the Hecarim, or sorry, the Lee Sin and the Hecarim being banned away. I would imagine that we might see them go for the Xin Zhao, but excuse me, no, looks like they want to try and lock in their support, and missing on this Thresh has been very solid so far this split.
Yeah, it gives that safety net to the Jinx, and in particular when you have two immobile carries, right, between the Ryze and the Jinx, puts them in a comfortable spot. I like this because, yes, you totally could pick your jungler here, but the fact of the matter is, Viego's gone, Lee Sin's gone, Hecarim has gone, a lot of those upper tier junglers off the table, so instead they opt to take a support, and now banning the Rakan, they can target things for Weibo. Could see the Nautilus come out as well as a pretty favorable, well, popular matchup for the Nautilus players into the Thresh that we often see. Could also go for a Tom Kench. I think there's a range of options, but really, in my mind, Weibo kind of need engage, and maybe that'll force them to lean a bit towards, you know, the Leona. For the side of Weibo, though, they banned that Graves away from 369. I feel like even a Kennen ban wouldn't be too bad. It's something 369 has played almost excessively, right? We've seen a fair bit of Kennen in the recent weeks, but he has been the person who's been picking it endlessly at this point.
Yeah, has literally been his go-to as we wait to see now what the final ban is from Weibo. I would love to see another jungler ban taking in here. We are seeing less and less priority being put onto the Xin Zhao, and I wanted to kind of get your feelings around that. Of why are we seeing, you know, what was seen as like the #1 jungler kind of slowly fall out of favor between a lot of these LPL teams?
I think a big aspect is the itemization changes, right? We also saw the rise of like Hecarim, for example, as this really strong camp tank jungler. But I think one of the things with Xin Zhao is kind of twofold. One, matched really well with Gwen, and Gwen is frequently just banned, so that pairing isn't sort of seen as much. But also the itemization changes, right? Gordon Casterex just made you immortal even without your ultimate, and now he's a bit too reliant on it to soak damage. He's still good, don't get me wrong, but definitely not as much a prior. We see the Jayce blinded by JDG. Now, we haven't really seen the TheShy pick up things like the Tryndamere, but that's something we've seen picked into the Jayce against him that really applied a lot of pressure. And now looking at the Renata, and it is going to be locked in. Not the best in lane, but you're up against the Thresh. You should be able to hold up okay in that matchup, and then you scale exceptionally for the TheShy. We've seen such a varied pool from him. Sometimes seeing him take things like the Sion. He took this into Ala on LNG and actually crushed the matchup. You know, typically we see Jayce just able to have a free lane, but we did see the TheShy really challenged there, and now Kanavi's just going to take that Trundle, so wanting something that has that early pressure. And so far for the drafts, right, a lot of scaling elements to the side of Weibo, right? They're going to have this huge front line. They're going to have tools like the Renata, like the Orianna. But the side of JDG, they have this range advantage, right? The Shock Blast, the Jinx as well. They have this really strong mid jungle that can look to snowball the map. And I really think that's what it's going to come down to for JDG, is finding that momentum, getting the Jayce fed, getting the Jinx fed. Yeah,
and I think it was Lyric that mentioned it as well when we talk about the TheShy, and we obviously love to see, or we tend to you know, personify the TheShy as this very heavy carry jungler who dominates lane. But of recent days, it has been the tanks that have been the successful picks for him. It has been things like the Sion that have worked a little bit better for him.
You say tanks, it's Sion, right? I feel like this guy is just picking Sion.
It's just Sion.
Like, in any situation. Real Giga Chad move, right? You know your team have got your back, and you're like, I'll pick Sion here. And that's the thing, though, right? Is what's crazy is I remember looking at the stats. I'm not sure if this is still the case, but it wasn't too long ago, where he was highest DPM just of all top laners in the league, despite like playing Sion.
Lowest. He also had like third lowest KDA.
Well, I mean, you're playing Sion, man. You can't be a KDA player.
I know.
Gotta use the passive.
We literally had like a whole graphic there, and I think it was like isolated kills versus like isolated deaths, and both these top laners are like 1 for 1. It was like I think 369 had 9 kills, 8 deaths, and the TheShy had like 14 kills, 12 isolated deaths. So they like to fight in the laning phase. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but I think the big thing for me from the TheShy is just the fact that, like, in matchups like this, LNG against Weibo, that's when I specifically remember, well, all I had the Jayce, and he got bodied in lane, right? This wasn't like, okay, you got ganks and that happened. The TheShy was just out trading with them and really pushing the limits of the matchup. But that's not going to be the critical thing. We really need to hone in on this series. It's about that mid lane. We've seen such a prevalence for mid lane picks to impact the map, and we're getting more of that here.
We are getting more of that here as we can now see an early invade coming in. Missing thinking about it, and yes, we'll get the flash burn there as On has to flash his own. He's been ignited, but won't get taken out just yet. That's 2 flashes burn, and Weibo, they're a little bit separated here. There's the decimating smash, 3-man. So TheShy feeling pretty good about that one there, but it is still very much a summoner advantage over to JDG off of what just was Weibo thinking they wouldn't be stacked in that bush.
And in my mind, it's happening again.
Yes, there's the second one, and that's almost half his health bar. So the early advantage you get with the Jayce having that range, not going to be as prevalent now in this early laning phase.
Shy, I mean, some people call it cheese. This is how you have to play Sion, right? It's all about the brush control. It's all about getting those big decimating smashes in. Just does so much damage, and obviously the CC as well. Yeah, he's just happy to trade quite heavily in this situation. Ward will go down and try and get more in.
I mean, if he gets with the decimating smash, he should be in a good position, but you can see 369, he wanted to go into melee form. That's where you get that extra little bit of AD, extra little bit of power, and now you wanted to trade. I don't think he was expecting this. We talked about them being bodied and, you know, setting themselves up for success, but TheShy is just getting absolutely rinsed right now. He's nowhere near this. And that means SofM has to now come up to try and deal with this, but 369, you may have gone too far forward, my friend. You have to try and get yourself out of here. It's now a 2v1 situation. This game is off to a banging start right now. 369 will have flash, but he'll get rooted up, taken down, and then we've seen it once, we've seen it a million times. First blood to TheShy.
And you know, you'd love to have the pure 1v1 of that situation for 369, but SofM comes up and makes things painful for you. Just 369, a little bit disrespectful, right? Oversteps too far, and like the positioning in the lane was so aggressive. And I can understand if you at least had your level 2, but level 1 Jayce can't really do anything to evade a gank in that situation. But there's a cost, right? SofM going up towards the top side. This is the expected outcome, is the Kanavi invading your bot side. And on top of that, you can't really get support from your bot lane because right now a Renata in the game has very long cooldowns, isn't great in those skirmishes, and critically has no flash. If you join that skirmish, you lose.
It's just going to be such an interesting setup right now for the side of JDG. You've got Kanavi roaming up. Oh, he's right behind enemy lines. Angel does not know he's here. It was perfectly in the middle. So just try and keep him away. They will land the pillar. They will get the stun down and the flash away. Angel in a lot of trouble. The flash forward. One more auto attack will do it. And that's going to be Kanavi picking up a kill. This is blood everywhere right now. JDG and Weibo are not pulling any punches.
And Kanavi played that beautifully because a lot of the time you want to wait until they flash before using the pillar, but he actually got the pillar in so early, Angel couldn't flash because it actually was between him and the wall. He wouldn't be able to clear it, and as a result, he had to stay for a bit longer, he had to walk around, bought a lot of time for Yagao to get his combo in, and then confident in the Trundle's early damage, and hugely positive, right? Because not only do you get that early kill, you burn the summons from Angel, you're stealing away more camps. Kanavi really doing his best to punish SofM's path towards the top side he took early.
Now we got to see Kanavi just invading again. He has an entire topside jungle to take, and now with SofM here, 369 is going to be trying to play a little bit of a baiting game right now because he has his mid laner and his jungler here. They're going to pop down the pillar. There is a flash here available to Sion. He gets over the wall, but he's underneath the tower all alone. I don't think they want to go for the dive just yet. JDG are not letting this one go by like any kind of stretch of the imagination. Flash in with the Ruin Prison. Kanavi, though, he hasn't got the pillar just yet, and he's not going to be able to get on time. But that being said, to the skies goes 369. Aux, this is what is happening. JDG are just saying, no, we're playing skirmishing all the time. No one is getting any rest.
This is big LPL energy, I'm going to be real, right? This sheer aggression coming out. We're getting more.
We're getting a lot more. There's a hook. There's On going down. You will get the bailout, but only for a little bit of time. It's more of a phone call than a bailout, and that's going to be another kill for JDG. They are so aggressive right now.
Yep, not giving any opportunity for Weibo. We kind of have a little bit of time, I'm thinking, just to break down the passage of play. The flash in from Yagao and Angel, they didn't have the follow-up for it, but Angel once again chunked out, forced a reset, and then bot side on. This is the thing with Renata, right? You are very vulnerable in the early game. This is one of her big weaknesses, is the fact that you don't have any mobility, your cooldowns are long, your W only really works if you're going to be able to trade a kill, which was never going to happen there. Oh, but Yagao might be in trouble here. No, I think he just gets to walk away. But yeah, so it's a great window to punish the Renata before she becomes a problem later in the game.
Bit by bit, little by little, we are looking at JDG just really going super hard aggressive. This is the style. This gets big, as you mentioned, big LPL energy. This is the style that we have as a region honed in on, of fighting all the time. No matter what is happening, there is always an advantage to gain, be it summoners, be it a dragon, be it a camp from the jungler. It doesn't matter. There is just always something to play for. And right now, Weibo, they feel a little bit out of sorts. They're not really used to this kind of pace, and something like a Sion needs time before he gets relevant in terms of his tankiness.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me is this is JDG playing to their win con, right? You said they're going to have the Ryze in the mid lane. Once you have, you know, the Ori can contest priority, but once that 6 is hit by Yagao, you have the Roman potential. The Trundle is a super strong jungler. At level 3, you can basically duel anyone in melee range. The Pillar is amazing if you can burn flashes, because then there's no real way to get around it, right? If they don't have a dash. And on the side of Weibo, no one has a dash. SofM gets one at level 6, but super impactful. And across the board, right, top lane, 369 is down because of that kill that got traded over, but he's up in CS. Mid lane's doing fine. Bot lane is substantially up in this matchup right now. So super positive, and it just needs to be a continuation of this trajectory, because the more gold you get into Hope, the more favorable I feel you're going to be. And another great hook coming out.
Oh my god, he goes a bit too far forward though, missing underneath the tower. They're gonna have the ignite down, and On will finish off that kill. I like the idea, but he just wasn't quite able to get the full CC train down, and just a little bit too close to the tower. So ends up being a trade back, but they did have to burn every single summoner on the side of Weibo.
Yeah, what I'll say is when he got the hook and there's the instant cleanse, that is great, right? That's enough. But then he went a bit too far forwards in the back of that, right? And I think the critical thing is you could have just taken the summoner advantage, been happy you got your reward. But yeah, so we're going to replay off that, and the minions get cleared, and it's like here, right? Summoner burn, great. But with the glacial augment there, opts to go forwards, and then the yank coming in from On traps you under tower, and that's just enough for you to go down. So I think you have to be a little bit cautious about that. Going forwards, going aggressive. Oh, and speaking of going aggressive.
Speaking of going aggressive indeed, there's the shockwave out as Missing going to be able to tank up the tower, but Angel will fall. The subjugate enough to kill him off, and there's no rest right now. JDG are showing to be probably the quickest team in the LPL right now, with just how many fights they're taking. But we're at 8 minutes, not even, and we're looking at 5 kills across the board, and they're still hunting for more.
And I love that play. We talk so much about the Realm Orb being this great roaming tool. You don't often see the Realm Orb used to gank your own lane and bring your support in, but extremely effective when Angel still didn't have the flash available. You can see it's just about to tick over and have it back. What I love is when teams, they burn a summoner and they go for repeat ganks. They capitalize on the fact that it's not available, and they do it with such precise timing like this, right? There was a very finite window where they could kill Angel before he had that summoner up and available, and that play might not be as successful. So really positive coming out from JDG. And again, continue that trajectory. We do see Weibo trying to get this Herald though. If I'm JDG, I don't want to give this over.
I don't think you have a choice, sadly. You are not in position. You did not have the roam timings up. TP going to be used here by Yagao to get himself back in towards that mid lane, as Missing shall just hold the wave for his mid laner, like all good support should. And easy enough for him to pick that up, so he doesn't even lose a single bit of CS there. And on the bot side here, we do see the usual handshake between the Aphelios and the Jinx. Just kind of, look, we're going to play PvE. We're happy enough, but you're 20 CS up as Hope and a kill. Yes, you have an assist there if you're on the side of Weibo for Huanfeng, but this is a very, very difficult matchup, and this Jinx is going to be very much always ahead of you when it comes to those key item spikes.
Yeah, and the range differential is a big thing that, you know, I talked about in the draft a bit, but it makes it so difficult when Jinx is just going to be able to auto you a lot when you can't auto her back. And there's no one really who has that long range on the side of Weibo, and Jayce and Jinx will be big thorns on your side. You can see they're leaning here, trying to look for TheShy.
But look at Angel. He's trying to see if he can make this one work. He flashes forward. That's real TheShy energy as he gets his ult to get knock up on 2. They will take him down, but now into the zombie form, he can do a little bit of damage. Yagao trying to jump onto Angel as Angel gets himself away, and SofM finally joins the fight. Yagao now caught between a rock and a hard place. They will get 369 out, but Yagao probably not going to be as lucky. That's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Weibo, and SofM picks up both kills.
Yeah, huge play coming out to turn that around. I think the critical thing was the shockwave from Angel, massive, enforcing both those flashes. And then whenever you end up in a low HP situation against a Viego, it's so scary. You know those resets can come in. So TheShy knows this play is going down. They're trying to slow play and get the CC down, but this great ult. And then the shockwave, not able to connect, but you burned both the flashes. Kanavi gets low. We see that the Viego comes in at the perfect time, because when there's low health bars going about, it just guarantees you're going to be able to get those resets on your passive.
Just a really, really good move there from TheShy. I feel like he just recognized, look, I'm dead regardless. I might as well set this up for the rest of my team, and he did just that. Puts himself into harm's way, flashes forward, gets himself with the unstoppable force, or excuse me, the ultimate there. It's not called unstoppable force. I'll figure out what that's called very, very soon. But now he's in a little bit of trouble. There's a pillar. He's caught between a Trundle and a pillar. He's going to get himself a little bit too much damage, and that's going to be an easy kill there, picked up by the side of JDG. TheShy just using his zombie form to pick up as much CS as he possibly can. But this is the matchup that he, as you mentioned, is very comfortable into the Jayce. But I don't think it's going to be a 1v1. It's going to be a 2v1 as Kanavi is just sitting up top.
Yeah, and I love this because, again, this is one of the lanes that you want to snowball is that Jayce. It's so easy against the Sion. If he doesn't have his flash available, the pillar just kind of blocks him off. He can't even ult around it, right? We'll just end the ult if he hits that terrain. But it's good that TheShy was able to clear out the wave and has TP. One of the things you're so scared of against a Jayce Trundle is if they ever just decide to take plates, right? They do it so fast, right? And there's already a lot of damage being done for that top lane tier 1, already a plate down. But now, SofM looking mid, but phase rush, a bit too much, nothing really to be found.
Nope, not to be found, but now SofM might be in a little bit of trouble. He has no flash, but he does have the Heartbreaker, gets him over the wall just about. But now he's getting subjugated, he's getting ticked down. He will dash away. Shockwave only lands onto one. His Angel is a bystander in this situation, and honestly, I gotta give massive props to Kanavi right now. He is running the jungle right now with such incredible speed and ferocity that he's just not giving the side of Weibo to break. Yes, it's not always perfect, but it is just keeping the pace at such breakneck speed.
Yeah, and you have to do this, I feel like. If you're picking Trundle, I feel like something we don't often see teams do is set that early pace, be super aggressive, and into something like a Viego, which will outscale you, vitally important. Now, we do see that Herald is about to time out, so that should just get thrown down mid. It's the kind of the best place to throw it down, right? If you're just going to get 2 plates off the back of it, but in an ideal world, you would have gotten more. So, not obviously too stellar a situation.
No, not exactly ideal. We'll just drop it there into mid lane as Angel trying to escort the minions up, and we finally have a little bit of a reprieve in the game right now. Time to take a breath. It is still only about a 1,500 gold lead in favor of JDG, so despite the breakneck speed, it is not going as, you know, as ridiculously in their favor, but it is pretty much advantages across the board. As we can see now, Realmorph going to be coming in as SofM without his Heartbreaker, without his flash, and without anywhere to go. Going to find himself in a lot of pain as Kanavi finds himself his 3rd kill of the game.
Yeah, now they can actually lean that pressure towards top, right? We talked about how quickly they can take turrets. Jayce going to be getting some solo plates here. TheShy zoned away, and again, it's the power of this mid jungle. This is what I wanted from this draft. You know, the strong mid jungle of the Ryze and the Trundle, really good single target damage in the early game, and they've just consistently applied that pressure and been able to lean it outwards. Now, I'm gonna have to flash there, and I feel like a lot of attention's been towards the top side of the map, right? We're seeing more here, right? It talked about the Trundle, Jayce just decimate towers, but this bot side has been naturally winning. There hasn't really been too much outside influence, and Hope and Missing have just been dominating.
Yeah, straight up, it has just been Hope and Missing taking Huanfeng and on and just saying, look, we're better than you. We have better hands, as it would be, and they're just making it, punishing this matchup so damn hard. And you can do that. We have seen the Thresh, despite, you know, the Jinx and Aphelios still keeping the meta, the Thresh hasn't been as prominent as, you know, maybe we could have expected, but it is still such a good combination with something like the Jinx. Covers for so many of the small little weaknesses that the Jinx may have. And now we're looking at bot side. We're looking at about a 400 gold lead for the AD carry, and honestly, I feel like that could have been a lot worse. The only real reason that it's not is because you actually had a cull there for Huanfeng, so he was able to mitigate that loss just a little bit more.
I think what you can see, right, it's a 3.5k gold lead overall, but everyone on the side of JDG is up in gold. In particular, 369 over 1,000 gold lead. First strike definitely a factor, but engaged coming in. They want to fight.
Yeah, they're going to go for... Derailed! That is the unstoppable onslaught taken from TheShy and just given a hard left right there. Now I know how that interaction works, and that's fun to see.
I mean, this is some of the power of the Trundle, really strong in the Sion for multiple reasons, right? The big one, obviously, the pillar can prevent him from getting that engage onto you, but also, you know, one of the big things we always talk about with the Trundle is, oh, On, you're so dead.
Yeah. He does have the hostile takeover. Just going to pop it out there for a second, but it is only to delay the inevitable as TheShy now finding 369 with Angel. Angel with the phase rush is kind of being a little bit more aggressive. The flash from 369 as the full decimating smash does not land. And this is Weibo trying to pick up the pace a little bit themselves. But like you said, it went from about 1,000 gold lead to about 3.5, even 4. Hope getting free PvE time in this bot side, and this Jinx getting very, very scary. And it does feel like JDG are the ones that are making the proactive plays. It does feel like JDG are the ones dictating the pace of this game, and it is very much a reactive game coming out here from Weibo.
Yeah, and they're trying to look towards this Herald. Actually, objective bounties coming in, so even higher priority for JDG to try and stop this. Kanavi, he's got the Divine Sunder, by the way, and with the ultimate, he decimates TheShy. That's kind of the point I wanted to bring up before about just the fact that the Trundle has such a good target to ult, right, in the Sion. You'll steal the resistances, you'll make him squishy.
Kanavi, he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. He's trying to flash it on top of the box, but they put down so many wards just to stop him from getting anything. Now missing, didn't realize there was going to be a Trundle pillar, and he has to flash away, and Weibo will not go quietly into the night. They are willing to fight you on every single front, but Angel has no mana. The Realm Warp comes in. It's a little bit of catch and chase and catch right now. Angel will eventually get out. Weibo coming back into this right now, kind of picking themselves up and moving into those faster gears.
That's an element we can talk about as the game goes on, is the side lane pressure, right? Ryze super comfortable in the side lane. Jayce also very comfortable up against the Sion in the side lane. It's just going to be this constant source of pressure for JDG. And despite the fact that we do see that pick coming out from Weibo, they get Kanavi, they get a bit of gold, right? It's still pressure in favor of JDG. Now, this has just been a bit overzealous. You have the Thresh there, it gives you confidence, but the CC chain allows them to throw down so many wards to block Kanavi from getting out in this one. And the shutdown will go over to the Aphelios critically, so Huanfeng got some extra gold on the back of that, importantly, but still overall down, right? 3,000 gold deficit. This could be the third dragon for JDG, and it is an Infernal Soul. Massively substantial if they can secure this.
I mean, they got it pretty much. SofM not really in a position. It would be a miracle steal, as don't think it's going to be happening this time around. That's going to be the dragon secured. They get themselves out. The Rift Herald will get the charge into mid lane, so that is going to be gold going over to the side of Weibo. And then again, we're back down to a 2,000 gold lead. They got themselves some objective bounties. They even get the second charge from Shelly. Now Weibo, they're just trying to again, stack up, but they are starting to get places. You've got first items completed, and now SofM, if he lands that route, could have been in a very good situation. But JDG, they need to be kind of worried about where this team fight or this game is going. They need to try and just layer this poke like they are with this Jayce in order to try and turn this fight around. It is 5v5, but no one wants to fully engage.
Yeah, I don't think as well JDG really need to engage in this situation. One, I'd say their engage isn't the best, right? They don't have someone who just has like this massive go button like TheShy does on the Sion. But also it's the fact that they can just keep poking from a distance, right? And if someone's out of position, that's when you commit, right? If you get a Rune Prison, you get a good pillar, that's when you can connect. But for now, rapid fire cannon completed for Hope. 369 on that 2-item spike. Doesn't have the full mana immune yet, but the shock blast starting to hurt. And Weibo just don't have a great response, right? Other than bring TheShy in and have him charge. That is why the Trundle works so well, you know, to mitigate that engage potential that Weibo also reliant on. Because outside of TheShy, you know, there's not really good engage from Renata. Her ult is so slow moving.
Yeah, it is very much something you want to have people running you into, as Hope ticks down and dies. That's not what you want to be seeing. They are trading it off, though, on the bot side. Is missing. Is going to be missing his health bar. He's going to die to SofM, so that's going to be another kill. That's 2 kills for a turret being traded here by Weibo, and little by little, bit by bit, we are seeing JDG just not being able to keep this breakneck speed and not being able to get his favorable trades because they trade a tower for a tower and 2 kills in favor of Weibo.
Yeah, they are going to find...
Oh,
I was able to get away. Yeah, this is just... It's a bit messy, honestly. They lose a lot out on this play. We will be going to be able to actually pretty much even up the gold differential, right? JDG were 4,000 gold up, and because of the mistakes that came out from the bot lane primarily there, and also just the fact they managed to pick up these 2 towers, they've equalized the gold lead, which is insane to think about how the state of the game was just like a few minutes ago.
That's the thing, the speed, the pace of this game is so insanely high right now, and that's what JDG wanted. So have a look at the replay here, and I think this is just going to be, sadly, Hope and missing recalling an award. Yeah, you're just recalling an award. You didn't check it, and you just got 1 shot. Sorry.
And if you look, there's a brush just above with a control ward in, right? Yep. Guaranteed that you're not on vision there, and it's just... It's so greedy, and it's kind of frustrating because I feel like JDG have done such a great job this game so far, and then they kind of just flubbed it. And the problem is as well is that there are objective bounties being collected by Weibo. That's why they've been able to sort of slingshot themselves back into this game so quickly. And now it sort of leans into this point where there's still a lot of strength on the side of JDG, right? The Jinx and the Jayce have those range advantages, but Weibo's front to back is really stellar, right? The scaling element of those team fights, the fact they have this super tank on the front line, they have Aphelios, they have Orianna, they have the Renata as well. It's getting a bit scary, and we have a minute 45 before that next dragon. It would be sold for JDG, but this is now Weibo with even gold in a much better position to fight than they ever were before.
Yeah, your 2 items onto your AD carry, you're basically equal, despite there always being very much an advantage for Hope. You're very good scaling on the Sion. He's going to be going up towards what I imagine will be his Randuin's Omen very, very soon. So he's going to be able to be a massive threat into the, you know, just being a meat shield for the rest of his team. So this is starting to get, as you say, a little bit scary for the side of JDG. They need to get this soul point. This now becomes a soul win condition here on the side of JDG. If they let Weibo stack up these Infernal Drakes, I just don't see a chance for them to be able to come back. Because like you said earlier, they don't have a definitive go button. They kind of have the Realm Morph, but it's not as great of an engage tool as you probably think as Yagao, seeing if SofM wanted to go a little bit closer to the brush, but not going to be happening. With a minute just happening, or a minute until that dragon is about to spawn, we are going to start seeing teams reset, get themselves back on the map with some wards, and maybe look to try and fight around this objective.
And the critical thing is that I want JDG there early. I want them with vision control setup. I want them to start layering down some poke from the Jayce. That's really important in my mind if you can get out on the critical members. Critical members really being, I think Angel is the main one in my opinion. Huanfeng has a Bloodthirster picked up, so he's not actually going to be that amazing to connect with poke on because you can sustain it up very quickly. But really, I am kind of looking at these reset champions, right? The momentum can swing so heavily in either side's favor because you have like the Viego on one side who, if you get a kill, snowballs it more, and on this side you have a Jinx, right? We've always talked about the power of the get excited passive, the extra attack speed, you get the movement speed as well, just to start ramping up once you have lethal tempo stacked on top of that. And we do see 369, but a poke on Angel will be positive. Currently Yagao fishing for a flank, but it's Weibo who have control of the area right now, and it's up to JDG to try and approach.
Yeah, and you can see there's a great ward there being picked up by the side of Weibo that know exactly where Yagao is going. So you can see right there, using the Calibrum, just pepper him down just a little bit. Not great guns for this fight, I will say, for Huanfeng. He would love to have the chakrams if he could possibly get them, but here we go. 3,000 health on the Baron, or the Dragon, as we're going to try and make this one work. It is secured, but it's out of Weibo, and now Yagao, you're on the wrong side of this one, buddy. He's going to have a cleanse, as he did have the unsealed spellbook, but bit of a separated fight now, as the rest of JDG going to try and jump onto TheShy, who gets himself out with the unstoppable onslaught and reveals himself to be able to survive. They get the Realm Morph out of Yagao as he goes bot side, but this is the turning point right now for Weibo. They are the ones in control. They are the ones that are able to formulate a bigger team fight than the side of JDG. And JDG need to start finding some kind of a fight or some kind of a pick where they can get the momentum back in their favor.
And you can see it started to feel very delicate when Weibo were grouped up, right? TheShy was just playing bodyguard, blocking the shock blasts, and suddenly the Jayce not able to do that much damage to Sion, right? You don't have your percentage pen in form of something like a Seralda, so right now you're really looking for those squishy members. And if you're not able to connect it, it does lose you a lot of momentum when it comes to those fights, because Weibo have the go button, right? The Sion can charge forwards, they have the shockwave as the threat. And I think JDG, a tremendous early game. I think it goes without saying, but the flubs in this mid game leave them in a bit of a delicate position. They didn't get the dragon secured by Huanfeng, which is kind of crazy when both junglers were there. But now TP coming in, they're actually just trying to force this.
There's a ward in the back of the pit, and JDG are in the area. You have the teleport on 369, but let's see what JDG can do. Weibo looking like they're going to try and fully commit to this one. 6,000 HP on the Baron, and they're still going for it. They've got a tank Sion who's going to be taking literally no damage. They're kind of trying to keep everybody away. They go in. Kanavi going to try and steal it. It's stolen by 369, and now Weibo are stuck in the pit, but JDG want nothing to do with it. They get themselves out. They lose nothing, and that is just straight up a flip coming out from Weibo. You didn't need to go for that.
And that was a 9 from 369. He's the one to secure it. They'll get mid tower as well. Baron minion should just be able to finish that off. Actually, keeps it alive. It's 1 HP. It's irrelevant. They secure the Baron. And Weibo were the ones who initiated, right? And it felt like the idea was they wanted to force 369's TP to relieve some of the pressure in the side lane. They wanted to force a fight, maybe. Those are the things going through my mind. But they just commit onto the Baron and they make it a flip. And I'm like, why? You really did not need to do that at this point in the game. And critically as well, JDG was so casual about that Baron that 369 didn't even TP. The dude just walked up, right? He could have TP'd in earlier, and they're like, nah, we're fine, we're good, okay? We'll just have him steal the Baron, and somehow ends up getting a shock blast, 92 HP before it's picked up. And actually, Kanavi was the one who smited that led it to get to that point. SofM didn't actually smite at any point there, but just, you know, it's one of those things where so much potential to backfire, and it felt so unnecessary.
Yeah, and again, look, I'm not going to give SofM any scuff for that because he was correct to not smite early, because that obviously would have meant he would have lost the smite fight anyway, but you cannot assume that the damage from the Jayce, but Jesus, that damage is absurd. He's even got the Serpent Fangs now, so the extra shielding you're going to be getting from this Bloodthirster, from the Orianna, not going to be as from the Sion as well, not going to be as great for you. But I will say this is just a little bit of a respite for JDG. They are still looking a little bit on the back foot, as we can now see Kanavi going to try and find SofM, and they're going to go for a bit of a tussle. But Kanavi, you're by yourself, buddy. Your team is not with you, and they're going to flash forward and they get the onslaught straight on top of them. And Kanavi, what was that?
I don't know, right?
Thanks.
You know, I thought about it for a second, and Yagao, you're now also caught out.
Angel, that was so big brain. He puts the ball right on the middle of the Realm Warp, so no matter where he goes, as long as he hits the shockwave, he's going to get caught by it. Yagao will clear out the minions and will get himself killed off, but that was just so nice on the side of Angel. And now Weibo, we talked about the Baron flip they just had, but it doesn't really matter anymore.
Because like no good play goes unpunished, right? JDG, get the Baron steal. Kanavi tries to 1v1 SofM, even though he has flash and ult. There's no way you're ever gonna like keep him locked into that 1v1, right? You're never actually gonna kill him because he can get away from you. So I have no idea. And then, you know, Yagao had plenty opportunity to leave. It was like, you know, I'll stay around. What are they gonna do? I've got Realm Warp. Well, that is what they'll do. And now, you know, Yagao's gonna have TP. He's gonna be joining in on this play. The dragon is in 25. It's still favored for JDG. They're up in gold. They're 3 dragons to 1. But keep making these mistakes, and they did lose that last dragon. They would love to secure this. Jayce and Jinx with Infernal Soul would be painful at best.
It would be painful at best, as you say, for the side.
And horrific at worst. Game ending at worst, honestly.
Yeah. Well, look, it is JDG who have themselves the priority at the moment, but they are being chased away. Yagao back on the flank, trying to see if he can go for the exact same play. And a deja vu, we have been to this place before. We are seeing what exactly happened in that last fight around this Dragon Pit. It was secured by JDG's AD carry. They will land a hook there on the Sion. He's getting chunked out pretty damn significantly. He'll have to flash away. There's the hostile takeover, but he lands on the one as missing goes golden. And now you've lost your tank. There's some massive damage. My God. That can't be allowed. SofM has to use the Heartbreaker over the wall, and JDG find everything. They get 2 kills onto their Jinx as Angel runs away. There's 3 kills, a Dragon's Soul, and JDG right back in this game.
Yeah, 5,000 gold lead now for JDG. Huge team fight for them. I think that's the critical thing, right? TheShy just doesn't feel tanky when there's a Serpent's Fang to reduce your shield, when there's the Trundle to steal resistances and health. They managed to get the Dragon and the team fight with big shockwave from Angel, but it's not enough. They're just going to end the game.
Yeah, you can't do anything. You don't have the numbers, and blink and you'll miss it. JDG, breakneck speed. It felt like all game, despite it being a 30-minute series. And this is going to be JDG taking game 1 of this best of 3 against Weibo.
Huge win for them, and I love the manner in which it happened, right? I think a big thing for JDG is we've seen, for example, against V5, they fell behind, and then they managed to bounce back in both games to get a 2-0. But this one was nothing like that. This was just high-paced aggression from minute 1. And sure, there was a couple of times where the ride got a little bit bumpy. It's definitely times they went off-road a bit, but regardless, they kept that pace, and Weibo just couldn't keep up. But I think we saw the power of the Jayce and the Jinx in the late stage, especially the Jayce, the Shock Blast, just devastating in TheShy. As soon as he was pulled out of the way and wasn't able to block them, the backline just got absolutely decimated. You know, I think one of the things is that having just TheShy as your engage tool when there's a Trundle in the team make things difficult, but also, you know, we can talk a lot about how things played out in the late game. The early game, they just got absolutely smashed.
I mean, yeah, even when Weibo were coming back, you can see there's that tiny little blip over the gold advantage, and then it kind of teeters up. Yeah, literally, and it just all of a sudden, nah, never mind, we're all good. You know, just absolute cliffs coming out here from JDG. And 369 on this Jayce, he blinded it. He was very comfortable in the matchup, and honestly, he came out trumps. He was a 9 today, and the style of which JDG were doing it, they understood where their composition was strong. They understood they needed to put their pedal to the metal, and they did it. And this is just a good win from JDG. Again, similar to what we've seen from them so far this split, they have just been getting better and better. Yeah,
I mean, I'm really impressed with this game. I know Weibo have been slumping a little bit recently, but they're still a formidable opponent. They're still one of the top teams going into playoffs, and the fact that they're just able to outpace them so heavily. And this is the sort of play I love to see, right? When you have that aggression, and yes, there's going to be mistakes when you are playing this sort of fast. There's potential for the enemy team to punish, but they just never relented, constantly looking for angles. And it was what the company needed to do, right? I said I wanted the Ryze and the Trundle have a lot of power in the early game, spread that just side lanes. They absolutely did that. And I've had so many games where teams have these tools and they kind of just sit on them. And it's frustrating to see the win con ignored. But JDG just, they set the win cons up and they played to them flawlessly.
Yeah, well, this is looking like it is going to be JDG looking pretty damn strong if they finish off this series in a 2-0, or maybe Weibo have something left in the tank. We are going to go send